Hi, everybody. This is day 3 of digging, but for you, this will look like day 1 probably. I'm not sure yet how that's going to turn out, but I'm thinking that's what's going to happen. So, behind us isn't going to make a lot of sense, but we're going to talk about that a little bit right now, and hopefully, you guys will understand a little bit better. He's got some questions for me, and I'm going to do my best to answer them so that you have a clear understanding of what's going on. Maybe. Clear as mud, anyway. So let's let's get this started.
All right, so Mr. Rowe.
Mr. Rowe. Yes, Preston Rowe.
Yes. Why are we out here?
We are out here because we are going to be building a Hobbit hole-esque house. Like a house built into a hill, but really the hill's going to be built around it. Entirely concrete and all that. Very fancy when it all comes down, but essentially the idea behind the house is that it will look very Tolkien Hobbit hole-esque.
Okay. Do you have a name for this area, this project of yours?
I do, and you know this, and I've mentioned this before, but I don't know that they know this, but the word Hobbit is actually owned by the Tolkien estate, which I think is weird, and I'm not sure I like that. But regardless, a lot of fantasy stuff uses the word halfling to represent the hobbits. So, as kind of an affront to that, I'm thinking that I'm going to call this area the Halfling Estate. And I also just think it sounds really cool.
The Halfling Estate.
The Halfling Estate.
Very good. All right, well, where are we at?
We are in Idaho, which, for the rest of the United States, yes, it's in the United States. It's
Where are the potatoes?
yes, where are the potatoes? There are no potatoes here. No, I don't think anyone for many miles grows potatoes out here. At least here. I mean, Idaho is known for potatoes. Yes, we are in the middle of nowhere in backwoods Idaho, like truly an hour outside of any town of any size. An hour outside of the biggest town as well, which is just like, convenient, I suppose.
Yeah. So you're close enough to where if you need to hit Home Depot or whatever, it's
Or the vet.
or the vet. It's an hour drive, but you're far enough out that you're pretty isolated.
Yeah, don't have a whole lot of neighbors.
That is true.
Pretty nice.
And your water is going to be coming out of that pipe over there, which is a well.
Yes. You guys can't see it because I didn't plan on it being in the video. Um, but it was here when we got here, and it will be the source of all of my water. So
Now, why do you want to build here? Why Idaho? Why not Florida, Texas, somewhere else? Why Idaho? Why here?
Well, lots of reasons. One of which is just convenience. We already live here and already have many acres here, so that's a huge thing. Additionally, I am rather attached to Idaho. I've spent the last eight years of my life here, and I tend to like it. I'm not a big fan of snow, but that's only a couple months, and I love it the rest of the year, so I can deal with that. And I mean, just all the hills combined with the trees is a nice aesthetic for a lot of the stuff I want to be doing. A lot of the fantasy stuff tends to be hills and trees, and I've got both of those. So
Very good. So this is kind of like an art project as well.
Oh,
this is not
yeah.
just a house. It's not just your basic cookie cutter apartment, condo, city house that you can throw a rock and hit your neighbors or whatever. This is multiple years in the making, I assume.
Oh yeah, like even once the house is done, there will be so many things that will truly be art projects. Again, you can't see it, but down a hill behind you is a creek with a log over it. And if any of you have seen the movie Bridge to Terabithia, uh, I'm going to make that log eventually become a Fey Wild kind of bridge, as the bridge to Terabithia is. Like I'm going to make the bridge to Terabithia down over a creek, and just a lot of different kind of cool, nerdy, fantasy-esque things are going to be going on around here over the next several years.
I've got a mosquito that has taken a liking to me. And you do have a creek back here. You've spent a long time walking this property and exploring and trying to find a location that would fit all of your needs and hopes and even feng shui. So
yes, yeah.
lots of things were incorporated into your build site. What else can I ask you about? What has happened so far? You've scouted and picked the location, built the access slash driveway,
Mm-hmm.
cleared brush, trees, and burned slash to get this site somewhat cleared because no one has ever lived here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anywhere close. You did that in May of 2017, so that's been 2 years ago.
Yes, yeah, this has been a project in the making for a while now.
You finalized all your floor plan stuff and
Yes.
electric and plumbing and all of that. You got septic approval for the drain field last
Yes.
year. Met with Idaho Power last year.
Yes.
And got the HOA approval. We have something like 22 neighbors in the community. And there's this little HOA that is primarily for road maintenance. But they also approve different things, and they did approve the build and all of that good fun stuff. You laid out the floor plan on the dirt before it was,
Yes.
broken, and
Hopefully, otherwise that's really gonna not be right.
yeah. Put in the corner pins and all of that good fun stuff. And now we're breaking ground.
Yes.
And so we're 3 days into moving dirt.
Mm-hmm.
So from this point, 3 days into moving dirt, what is next? What are the next steps or phases?
Well, let me preface this by saying, to you, it's day zero, which means none of this has happened yet. So you're going to see.
You know what? We can put some stuff in there. We can put some pictures or some other videos in there showing the different things from a couple years back.
I want them to know what's going on. So they're going to see all of this get excavated out with that excavator, and then after today, we're going to be coming back in here with a bulldozer and working on getting that flatter and a little bit more level. It's pretty level right now, but it can do to be better. And then, if it's not quite perfect enough, we're gonna come back in here with the backhoe, or track hoe, or extend a hoe, depending on what you call it. Um, lots of names for these things.
Backhoe's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a track hoe. It doesn't have tracks. But I suppose the excavator would be the track. Would be a track.
Some people call it a track hoe.
Okay. After that, we're gonna be digging out for the footings, and the footings for the center columns, because it's gonna have center columns. upsides and downsides to making entirely out of concrete. Um, and working on doing footing stuffs from there. That will be the recent future. The upcoming,
near
yes,
future.
near future. The near future for you guys. So that's what you will be seeing for the good little while coming up.
Okay, so we're here 7th, 28th, whatever.
28th, yeah.
Okay. What winter's coming, obviously.
Yes.
I mean, we're sitting here in the middle of summer, but winter is always coming. And this kind of stuff, outside projects, are shut down during winter.
Yes.
And the last opportunity to get a concrete truck up here is typically Thanksgiving Day is kind of like D-Day. If you haven't had the concrete truck up here before Thanksgiving, it's not going to happen. So, what are your goals from today to snow on the ground?
My goal by then is to have plumbing run, which essentially just means like
Roughed in.
roughed in, not usable yet, but through the concrete and up to the foundation board, which is the floor. Functionally, that will end up just being like a flat pour, but that will require a lot of prep in several areas, just between laying the cinder blocks on top of the stem walls, or for the stem walls. All of that's going to be very time consuming, and all of those things are just going to be little things that add up and will take up a lot of time. But my goal by, I suppose, Thanksgiving is to have the floor, aka foundation, poured.
Okay. So you're going to do the footings?
I suppose the footings are technically foundation, but I'm calling it foundation because it's going to be underground.
So you're going to do footings, stem wall, roughed plumbing, and the slab.
Yes.
That's your goal before winter. Okay. And your goal next spring is what?
My goal next spring is going to be to come in here and start putting up and rendering, which is an interesting concept, the walls, which rendering is essentially an outside mortar. Like you usually see with brick and cinder blocks and such, people putting down the brick, cinder block, whatever it is, and putting mortar on top, and then putting another brick. The intention behind rendering is to be able to stack the blocks without having to put mortar, and then mortaring the outside with, actually it's a different compound, but it's essentially called rendering, to keep the blocks vertical and held together until you get concrete in the blocks to hold them together better, more permanently.
Yeah, very good. So it'll look like stucco.
Yeah.
On the inside and outside, and that stucco will hold the blocks in place firmly enough, long enough, until concrete is able to be poured into the blocks.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's your goal for
That's
next spring?
for spring, yeah. Hopefully by mid to late summer next year. That might be a little bit ambitious, but we will see. I'm hoping to be able to start on the roof parts, which will include the metal, which will be put on top to essentially act as the form, the permanent form that will be poured in place and hold up my ceiling partially. And then by late summer to Thanksgiving is when I'm planning on pouring that, though again that might be a little ambitious. We'll see.
That's a lot. It can be done, but that
It
is
can
a
be
lot.
done. It is a lot.
That is a lot.
It is does not leave a whole lot of room. It might be a little ambitious, but that's my hope.
And you're going to be trying to work in college during this next little
Yes.
bit. College starts back up next month, and so that is going to be a thing as well.
Yes, I do have the advantage of only having to spend time in town, an hour outside of town, for 3 days a week, which means I'll be spending 4 days up here, but that's still only about half the week I actually get to spend on this kind of thing. So that will slow me down quite a bit.
Very good. Well, what else do you want to say? What else is going on with this?
Uh,
We're going to try to get the dozer out here tomorrow
yes.
and get it more level. All the research has been done, right?
Yeah, all of this is very new to what I can tell, as far as I can tell in general. I've not been able to find any information on this kind of thing. Everyone, like, the closest information I could find is like bunkers and basements.
Root cellars,
Yeah.
things like that,
And
which are small,
yeah, which
smallish things. And this is a 1,200 square foot structure,
yes,
not including a garage.
not including the garage, yes, which will be another 600.
4, 5, 600, yeah, whatever you've got going on.
A little wider than a two-car garage. So all of this has been really, really new to me, and has kind of been an art project of its own to some extent. Just doing all this, all the math on holding up the roof, because I have to plan on being able to hold 8 feet of snow on the roof if I don't move it,
As well as the weight of the concrete,
as
and
well
the
as
dirt,
yeah.
and whatever may happen.
Yes, yeah. So there's been a lot of just interesting learning things for me, and that's been super interesting and fun and all that stuff. And that's kind of like what I'm hoping all of this will be, not necessarily learning how much concrete can hold, but just having interesting, fun things going on. Between the art project aspect of it, the nerdy, this is cool kind of aspect of it, to the learning how much concrete can hold. Because, I mean, that is actually a really cool thing to know and learn about and do and all of that. And this whole thing is just is for me going to be a whole lot of fun. And I'm hoping it will be a whole lot of fun for you guys to watch. We will see. I think that's all I have to say. We haven't introduced you to them. You're we need to introduce you.
I'm the machine operator.
He's my father, owner of the property.
Me in the bank. My motivation for filming this and for being a part of all of this stuff with the filming is I think it's a neat project. And this information is not out there easily to find. So that was kind of my inspiration to say, let's film this process. Had there been 5 or 10 even videos on YouTube about how to build something of this size, this strength, and this capable, there would be no reason to do this. It has already been done. So personally, I thought this would be a good project to film and document. I would have documented it for personal reasons, but there would have just been pictures. We would have had a buttload of pictures, and 50 years from now, somebody would have looked at them and thought, wow, that was cool. But taking it to video so it can go out on YouTube, so if somebody ever in the future decides, hey, underground house, what's involved in that, this might be something of interest to them, especially with the Hobbit-esque kind of motif you're going with here. Um, I think a lot of people will find something in this series that is of interest to them, hopefully, and will work for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So why are you doing this? Why are you um, wanting to video this? And...
Mostly for the same reasons, honestly. Uh, Again, a lot of the like cool stuff I just feel like should be shared. Um, and it's just a very fun, interesting thing that I feel like other people might get a kick out of, might enjoy, and or at least maybe not as much as me, but close to as much as me. Um, and I'm hoping that other people can enjoy it. See what's going on, and
Yeah, and if there are like-minded people out there,
mm-hmm.
it would be awesome to connect somehow,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's just a comment or whatever. You never know. There might be a bunch of other people out there doing really cool stuff
Mm-hmm.
along these lines, and they might see this video, and they might have some ideas and some suggestions. They might say, "You're absolutely nuts for doing it this way. This is the way you should do it,"
Mm-hmm.
or whatever.
And I know there's going to be one person out there who's already done this and has posted it online somewhere, and I've just never found it.
That would be
And
awesome.
and they're going to be like, "The hell, man!"
That would be cool, though.
Yeah.
Comment and leave a link to your video. Yeah, that would be neat. All right. So, are you going to have videos on the whole process? I mean, some of this stuff is going to be kind of boring, like pouring footers. I mean, people have seen videos of pouring footings and things like that, but I'm going to be documenting it for personal stuff anyway.
Well, I'm kind of the mindset that I don't see why I wouldn't document it. And it's YouTube, and if you don't want to watch it, you don't have to. And, I'm just going to document everything and see what people enjoy, and.
Well, you make a good point.
Everyone can see whatever they want, and I just want to have all of this both for my own purposes and for other people to enjoy. So, I'm gonna try and document as much as I can. With probably jump cuts like this, where I'm not gonna, videotape hours of just digging. A lot of these things might just be like snippets of, okay, that's what pouring a footing looks like. We're done now. You don't need to see the next 3.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. So as you go on with this project, besides the construction of it, which most people will probably find kind of boring, and to a certain degree, there are a lot of videos out there of how to lay blocks and how to do whatever. But the overall picture is different than what we've seen before. But beyond that, it'll be exciting to see what else you do out here. The door. What are you going to do for a door? That'll be cool.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do about the fireplace? That'll be cool. The bridge that you were talking about. So you have a lot of cool projects ahead of you.
Mm.
So stay tuned.
Yes. I feel obligated to say something along the lines of like and subscribe, but I'm not going to do that. Which, by saying that, I have done it, but I'm expressly not saying that. That may or may not make it into the final video. I have no idea. A lot of this stuff may or may not make it into the final video.
That's true. We have no idea what we're doing. We're just doing stuff. It is beautiful out here.
It is.
It
I'm
is
gonna go
so
ahead and turn it
quiet.
off.